So first of all, we don't tolerate harassment. Second, we're going to take your pictures. So what is User Experience Design Hong Kong? First of all, it's intersection. It's in the logo, this intersection between technology, the way we understand technology, and the way we understand humans. User experience design as a profession is all about understanding human dynamic and being human-centric. Second, for us, it's a community. So for me, it was about bringing the feeling of Silicon Valley to Hong Kong. So when I went to Silicon Valley in 2013, I had this incredible situation when you can walk in any room, you can ask for a meeting, and people will spend time with you and pay forward what they got from others to you, a completely new stranger person. And when I came back to Hong Kong after that experience, I felt like we have money, we have infrastructure, we have one of the best cities on earth, but we're missing this community. So for me, User Experience Design Hong Kong was a way to bring this idea back to Hong Kong and say, hey, let's pay forward to each other. Let's support each other. Let's build a community. And looking at this room today, I feel like it's taken some roots. I have many coffees with many of you. Many of you know me personally. And it was an incredible experience over a decade. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Last bit is protopia. Protopia is this weird word. It's not utopia, it's not dystopia. It's a prototype of a desirable future. If you look at the sci-fi, a lot of sci-fi is kind of dystopian. We don't want to inhabit the movies we're watching, most of them. But there's a prototype of a future which is desirable. And User Experience Hong Kong Design is about building this prototype, figuring out what it means to live a desirable future. So UX Design Hong Kong have many different ways of expressing itself, existing. We have a WhatsApp group. If you're not there, you should join. During COVID especially, we had a lot of online events, and we're still doing this time to time. We have some satellite events when we play games or we just meet with people, and in this case, it was a board game. And now we have Ha as a place when we share updates and engage with each other. But today is about Agentic Web. But before I go into that, James, thank you for hosting us. Do you want to say a few words?
Hi, everyone. I'm James. This is a co-work space. Obviously, there's no offices on this floor, but we have 2 other floors down below. We're in Central now, which has just opened, Causeway Bay and Tower 535, and Sheungwan. In fact, Ilya was one of our first members since back in 2014, I think, with one of his startups. So I've known him a long time now. Back at our old Central location, so we started in Central in 2014. That's the space Ilya was doing an app that was connecting members in the space with the, and since then grew over the APAC, but obviously with COVID, reduced our footprint, but we're really happy to be back in Central on Duddle Street. We just opened last week, so I think it's a good example of how the ecosystem is also sort of growing. It's great to have a lot more events the last couple of months as well here, and to see Ilya back in the space with a new startup, a new team, and lots of people here. So if you want a day trial, scan the QR code. I can also send a link to Ilya that he can share through to you guys if you want to try any of our co-work spaces. And you can find us on all the usual channels, and I'll be around at the end if you want to know anything more. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, James. Also today we have Take 21 Media doing all the recording, so thank you guys. Appreciate it. So Agentic Web. I kind of checked my old slides from 2018, and I found this slide. I updated the years. So today is 58 years since the mother of all demos, presented by Douglas Edinburgh in 1968. So for me, it was one of the best demos, and it's defined products like Notion, Figma, Google Docs, many, many different products we're using today every day and considered to be standard or envisioned by a team back at Stanford University, I think it was, not university, no, Stanford Labs. And what presented on the screen, this guy invented the mouse for this demo. So he's holding a mouse, he has a keyboard, he has something else here, which is like 5 buttons, which today become command control. We're using this idea still, so we have command input. And he was incredibly efficient in making lists, tags, talking to colleagues via video. He created a demo of a future, and we inhabit this future today. In my view, he created Protopia. His goal was to boost mankind's capability for coping with complex, urgent problems. It's very interesting because his work was not about technology. His work was about helping people to deal with urgent, at the time, 68 problems. Much later, this guy wrote a book, and this is my slides from 2017, sorry. So one of the core ideas in this book, it's after Sapiens, was this: we have a secret experience inside us. The answers to questions live inside us. And he was writing about this in a context of technology. So there's interesting connection between us as humans and human experience and technology as enabler for us to do more, to achieve more. So one of the biggest divides, I would say, and I changed this slide because it was a bit different 2018. We have intelligence in the cloud, and we have intelligence with you. Intelligence in the cloud controlled by corporations, and not necessarily on your behalf doing the work for you. What is, I think, is emergent is this intelligence which belongs to you on your device at the edge. And this divide is huge. So today we're using ChatGPT, we're using Claude, Gemini, we're using a lot of platforms which are cloud-based. What I think might happen is that the compute will move to the edge, and then you will own your compute. You will have close to zero cost of inference, and will be able to do all the work necessary on the device. So this was an article in a recent Psychology Today, and it really struck important point for me. There's different dimensions, but we can look at the human intelligence and large language model intelligence. And the main point is that they don't compete at the same verticals. These two intelligences are different. For me, it's very helpful because it means that instead of competing for the same space, competing for the same work, we can talk about augmentation. We can talk about augmenting human with a machine, and together doing a lot more. So there's 4 principles, in my view, of Agentic Web. The first one is privacy. It has to be yours. It has to be ideally on your device. You need to own the data. Second one is accessibility. It has to be for everyone. Third one is connection. It needs to help people to connect. It's not about people talking with virtual girlfriends. It's about humans connecting to humans through technology. And if you bring all of this together, what you get as a result is serendipity. Serendipity is this weird word, but it's when things are going your way in a kind of miracle way, when things just happen and align with your intention. So for me, what I decided to do as a designer is I started a company called HA, Human Agent, Agent Human, which combines all of these principles together to build the future of Agentic Web. It's not a product pitch, so I'm not going to go into many, many details. I'm just going to show you one. This was my real situation with my agent, and a few things I want to highlight. So first of all, what is happening before that is that I'm listening to some music, and I'm planning my trip to the United States. Then I open my app, and the first message is like, hey, side note, you're going to San Francisco, and you listen to this music. I connect the dots for you. Do you want to book a show with this team, with this band? So the first thing is that the agent here is proactive. I didn't ask the question. I didn't prompt it to do that. It's prompted itself. It's prompted me with an idea. So I was actually already thinking about something similar. So I said, like, yeah, great. Can you help me to do that? And what agent did is found direct Pampalamoose website. Pampalamoose is a band, to help me to book the tickets directly. So in a way, what agent did here is not just kind of suggesting some kind of content. It's nudged me in a direction which I was going already and helped me to achieve my goal. So for me, this is all together is about trust. I trusted my agent with my music, with my travel plans. I needed to trust my agent in the first place to be able to achieve that. Connectivity and serendipity. If you're curious about HA, you can go to HA-ING register today. If you want to learn more about our thinking behind it, Substack at HA-ING as well is available. And today I present to you, yes? No? Present to you two speakers. Going to talk about Agentic Web. Leo and Mubarak. So Leo will go first, around 12 minutes, then Mubarak, and then we'll have a joint Q&A with all three of us. Make sense? Okay, thank you for coming.
Mic check. Okay. Hello. Okay, so let me check this. Okay, hi, I'm Leo. I work in design in a company called Gunox, together with Moby. And I was also a founder of a community looking into AI, creativity, and authenticity. Some of you folks might have joined the community events before where you, yeah, hey, hi, yeah. So you know that usually in those events I play as the devil's advocate because I want to share some views that is not mainstream, what you find on LinkedIn, be more critical about it, but still working towards a protopia. Yeah. And today, I wouldn't, I'll be lying to say that if I, oh, sorry. Okay, I'll be lying if I say I know, or maybe I have some deep insights in the future of Agentic Web, because all I did is that I had some weekly jogging. And there are so many intrusive thoughts that come into my mind when I read all those random articles and academic papers. And this is a summary of those intrusive thoughts in my run. So not orthodox, not validated, but I hope it opens some interesting conversation with the crowd. And I really want this to be bi-directional. So if you really open to any questions you have later in the Q&A. But before that, I would love to have a quick raise of hands, really quick one, to let me have a sense what the audience is like. Raise your hand if you work in tech. Okay. Raise your hands if you use AI every day. Okay, good. Raise your hands if you are optimistic about the future of AI and the future of internet, like it will solve humanity's problem. Okay, raise your hand if you're pessimistic of AI, like it will destroy the fabric of a civilization and we're doomed. Okay, good. It's a good balance actually. So before talking about the future, it's sensible to first look back to the past. there are so many promises that companies, that governments would make to the future of technology. This is not new. We have seen that pattern before, even before internet, with Industrial Revolution, the first one, the second one, etc. But let's look back to a very specific moment of the information highway, of the internet. Like, what were the early promises? How did they hold up? Have those promises changed? So, if you still remember, internet used to be a triumph for open access of knowledge and information. Everyone should be well connected, and there's is a breaking of a top-down centralized information control. There will be many-to-many publishing, decentralized power, a lot of independent voices and freedom. Okay, that's the promise. Do you raise your hands if you think that is achieved, mostly achieved? Okay, yeah. Raise your hand if you think that's total bullshit. Okay. I assume, I assume most of us are standing in between, so partially achieved, yeah. And what we have learned after, I think, 3 decades is that the many-to-many publishing ideals is an ideal. So there's a rule called 1991 rule, which means in the internet, 90% of the users or people just lurk around. They just browse. Yeah. Or in Hong Kong, we call it CD-ROM. Yeah. And there are 9% would contribute occasionally. I'm one of those 9%. And there are 1% that would create most activity, publish like every minute, like you see those prominent figures on Twitter or X. Also, I don't have to remind all of us, like the internet or the social media nowadays, there are so many second-order effects or third-order effects that we haven't anticipated in the first place. A lot of the design decisions, technical decisions were made to serve a very lofty goal. But society or human behavior are often unexpected, would run in some unexpected emergent behaviors, if you may. So today, with Cambridge Analytica, with a lot of the echo chamber, all these discoveries we've made, we know that internet nowadays are full of walled gardens. There are a lot of people try to find, the algorithm will match people with similar views with each other and amplify their thoughts, and people are actually being more divided instead of being more united. And there are a lot of doom scrolling. Yes, there are more and more information, but it just paralyzes people, and it just become addicted to those dopamine rush, and all are just serving overlords in the Silicon Valley. So that's the pessimistic take of it. Of course, it's not the entire story, but the reason I bring this up is that it's very important to not swallow whatever promises are made by the tech mainstream media. We should always keep a critical lens and reflect, okay, so this is what is driving the main narrative, but there are always some social impact or some human behavior that we couldn't imagine or predict. We can try our best to predict some of it, or maybe build for a preferable future. And so that was the first internet, and we've come a long way. So there are Web 2.0, 3.0, and now with agents, some coin it as Web 4.0.
Do you feel like Web 3 actually happened?
No, I don't think so, yeah. So yeah, I should add some quotation marks here. Yeah, but there were promises made, and I think they are still working hard on it. Yeah, but we're already going to the next thing. So agents, MCP, web MCP, they're going to be in your OS, in your browser. What will be the impact this time? So that's the question I want everyone to leave today. What will be the second order effects we'll be seeing? So with Agentic Web, I think there will be 2 main patterns. So the first layer is that we'll be delegating the serving and exploring. Okay. So internet used to be about surfing. If you're old enough, you know that metaphor. What do I mean by that? We'll start using AI to compare stuff, explain stuff, summarize for me, email for me, schedule things for me, buy things for me. So the technical architecture are already there. Of course, there are startups that trying to give agents a debit card or even credit card so that they can actually do things for you. And MCP tools, there's a lot of APIs built around there. So we'll be delegating the internet experience, a lot of actions to the AI. What does that mean? I bet there are a couple of designers or people working in tech, so we think in the language of interaction. So what does it mean? The way we interface with the internet will be very different. In the beginning, let's say 1.0 or 2.0, is a lot of clicking and searching between pages and content, hyperlinks. And then it becomes scrolling, feeds, wall of feeds, swiping, infinite. And now it's about chatting and vibing, approving. So the way we interact with content, with information, with knowledge is very different. And what I want to argue is that this convenience is actually obscuring a lot of dark patterns into some messages and recommendations. So there are some big words here, like dark patterns and sycophantic. So what does it mean? Dark patterns is a designer-ish jargon, which means business folks or maybe people with bad intention will manipulate your actions or thoughts with some design tricks, basically. And sycophantic means AI usually please you and say whatever you think, oh, you're perfect, oh, you're the savior of the world, you're totally right. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, so AI has the tendency to do that, and it's within the reinforcement learning, the way it's built, that made it behave that way. And so we'll start, brands or people or businesses will start switching their thinking from, let's say, SEOs, social marketing, from how do I rank higher so that I can be discovered, or how can I nudge them to pay in that checkout process? Do I write things differently, etc.? As designers, a lot of us have to work in this realm every day in our work. But soon, or maybe already, we start to be asking, how can I get the agent to say nice things about the product I'm selling? How can I even get the agent to speed check out whatever I'm selling? The internet will be a very different experience, how we interact with it and how we design and sell things on it. Okay, some more devil's advocate. What does that mean? Realistically, I think it means that there will be less humans clicking on the internet. So what does it mean? It means a lot of the internet content creators relied on ad revenue. We hate ads, but that's how many of them are surviving. With less human clicking, it means that they will have less revenue, which means there will be less human creating content, less incentives. So try to think about that whenever we relying on AI summary on Google search. What are some second order effects this convenience bring to me? I'm guilty anyway. By the way, I use AI every day, but this is also on top of my mind. I'm struggling with it. Also, it means that there will be more AI agents clicking through the internet. It means more server cost. A lot of the small-scale publishing platforms are suffering from this, and they try to have some scripts in the website to say, hey, robot, please don't crawl me. Please don't crawl this page. Please don't crawl this page. But this is all voluntary, and they're not complying. And one of the second-order effect is that there is a dead internet theory, there's dark forest theory, which means people are sick of all this, sick of fake content, sick of AI agents on the public internet to retreat back to a private internet, which means WhatsApp group, or maybe HA, or maybe a lot of your direct messages with your people you actually trust and know. And you never trust strangers online. And this goes in a really interesting twist of the original promise of the internet. But it's very easy to be pessimistic. I keep telling you folks negative stuff. Let's challenge ourselves to stay hopeful. I think that's the difficult part, and that's the more meaningful part. So I have some what ifs today. What if the internet's future isn't decided by big tech and AI, but by some incentives designed by us? Or maybe you can start small, incentivizing yourself in your daily interaction or behavior using the internet. Also, what if AI agents has a duty to act on our best interest? Currently, they don't. and the governments are not incentivized to regulate them at all because of national competition. But what if they do just like doctors and lawyers? They are ethically bound to do that, they're legally constrained to do that. And also, what if AI companies are required to pay for the source, for the content creators that they use for training or they use to summarize content? This is the easier part, because there are already a lot of companies tackling this. Pro rata, created by humans, even Creative Commons, they are starting some new initiative. If you're into this space, go search them. I believe Creative Commons are now looking for volunteers to join their working group in coming up with new protocols to how to make this happen. Yeah. So Pro rata, created by humans, Creative Commons. So some exciting projects to convince us that there's still hope and people are making changes about it. Also, Cloudflare. I believe some of us have been using Cloudflare every day. Instead of a protective approach, they do the opposite. They do aggression. So if there are AI agents that doesn't follow the instruction of saying, hey, please don't scrape me, please don't read me, they'll trap those AI agents in an infinite maze of infinite content. The Cloudflare will use AI to fight AI, which means they'll ask AI to create infinite amount of page so that the AI companies will waste a lot of dollars scraping those nonsense pages. Again, some way the companies are brainstorming out of the box to put order in place. And then there are nightshade and glaze, which is some poisoning techniques. But of course, poisoning means if the AI scrape this and put it into their training data, it will make the outcome worse by adding some noise into it. Yeah. So, but before I continue, how am I doing on time? Okay. So the second layer is less about how we use internet, but how we, as a human being, live every day. Our lives are now intertwined with the internet so deeply that our experience, maybe some of us are even born with the internet or maybe born with AI. Their life is so intertwined, and the way we be and the way we understand ourselves, understand our world will be radically different. And there are some new trend together with the Agentic Web, which is called digital twin, digital double, second brain. It's not new, but now it's taking up traction. What it means is that what if your entire self becomes documented in your computer, where the AI can understand you very intimately, and so that it can know your preferences, know your writing style, know your relationship, know your goals, and it can act for you. It can simulate for you, almost like a clone, a doppelganger. So this digital twin is a promise where AI can even socialize or vote for you. There's actual experiments in Europe where they're thinking how you can cut the middleman of politician, where your digital twin can go to strict to direct democracy. Okay. Underneath all this, the hypothesis behind all these movements is that friction is bad. Removing friction is good, and therefore there are some second order effects. That is, we are being weaker and weaker in thinking, in critical thinking, without us knowing. So I think that's a new risk, and we are kind of being evolving by the AI from thinking to supervising, from creating to selecting. So how we interact with not only with the internet but also with our daily lives, or how we understand our role in our life will be very different. So we should think about what have we gained, what have we lost, and are we happy with that trade-off? Maybe you are, that's totally fine, but we should know what we are trading off against. And lastly, to close, some what-if statements to put a positive twist to it. What if using AI is not about efficiency gain, it's to slow us down instead of speeding up? What if we make an effort to discover the internet in a meaningful way, and the effort itself is the point? And what if agency and intent is the new design material? Yeah. Okay. Lastly, stay hopeful and be critical, and let's talk about this. If you're interested, I have a community called Mix Initiative. You can search me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or yeah. Thanks.
Thank you for mentioning AI material. It's go directly into the next talk,
Yeah, perfect.
right?
It's almost like you're behind it. I think I'll use this as a table.
Okay.
I'll just spin this around. I'll put my computer here. You can sit there. I think.
Okay. You need to connect to the.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay.
I should get the. Oh, thank you. Hello, hello.
Maybe try and disconnect from that.
Okay.
I have the microphone. Sorry, I have some demos, so that's why I wanna switch to my computer. Oh dear. Sorry, everyone. Yeah.
Wi-Fi is up. Is your Wi-Fi on the screen?
On the screen, but it was working just now. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, maybe you could do that. Oh, it works. It works. Perfect. It's showing up on screen, but I'm not getting
You're not getting
like the little thing where I can put in the number. It's not showing up.
Are you doing the display settings? Oh wait, you got a VPN on. Use your VPN. Are you
No,
doing
it's off.
local access?
It's off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Displays, and then it should show as one of your additional displays here. So
Yeah, it's not showing.
plus here.
USB-C.
It actually shows. There you go.
Oh.
TV one. I'll try it again.
Another option.
Oh, okay. Maybe that will have to be what we do. I'm sorry, everybody. Oh, there we go. There we go. Entire screen.
It's in the process of changing, right? Give it a second.
Okay, I'll just begin by introducing myself while my slides are coming up. So my name is Moby. My actual name is Mubarak, but everyone calls me Moby. I work with Leo at GoodNotes as a product designer, specifically. Whoa, that actually kind of looks kind of cool. So I work as a product designer at GoodNotes. I've been there for about 5 years. I grew up in Hong Kong. And today I'm going to be talking about a very interesting object that I really, really enjoy thinking about, and that is a jig. Who here knows what a jig is? Oh, awesome. Yes, perfect. That's great. So I'll go into that today. And yes, it will relate to AI and you'll see, and I hope it makes sense. Are we getting slides? Okay, all right. Maybe I'll just do it over there from your screen. Almost. Oh. 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 Yes, almost. But this looks really cool. So it's the HDMI. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right, so yes, getting jiggy with it. Again, if you know that reference. All right, so starting off, AI is not just something we ship. It's something that we can actually use to shape the product with. So that's what my entire talk is going to be about. And how do jigs go into it? Jigs, okay. You can count how many times I say jigs in this talk. So this here isn't the actual product that this maker is creating, right? So that's actually the jig. And they're using that as a way to guide this tool in order to create these patterns in the piece of wood. Right? So a jig is an object that a carpenter would create in order to help them build other things. And I find this extremely fascinating because it's a personal tool. It's something that they built for themselves. You can't take one jig and give it to another carpenter. They might not know exactly how to use it. It's very personal. It's something super personal. This is the outcome from that thing that I think it's a table that the carpenter was building, right? So that's what a jig is, right? And so, I mean, there can be very simple jigs where, you know, it's a right angle and it helps you get repeatable right angles, or something that is curved and it helps you repeat that same cut multiple times across different pieces of wood, right? So a jig, again, yeah, it's a personal object that you create that helps you create your final object. When we're building software, a lot of times when we think about where AI will come in, like as a main character, it's usually at these points. It's a production feature, final interface, or something that's already shipped. A lot of times we ask ourselves, like, okay, we have this product. Now where do we stick AI onto it, right? Or put it somewhere. Let's, you know, replace something with AI. This could be a chatbot. This could be summarize, you know, right click, summarize, etc. But I thought to myself when I started vibe coding, started using AI, what if AI actually belongs in the workshop, like a jig, right? You go into a carpenter's workshop, there will be a jig there, and they use it to make other products. So that's how I looked at AI. Can I use this thing in my process to help me make the final product? And so that's what I'll talk about today. And I'll show you 2 jigs that I created that helped me in my design process. So jig number 1. So I really wanted to use AI as a way to never ever have to use lorem ipsum again. Right? So I was making chat interfaces, dreaming up conversations. The AI is going to say this, and then the user will say this, and then this beautiful conversation. And then, of course, when it goes into production, that's not what happens. AI is not deterministic, and so you have no idea what it's going to say on the end of the user. And so I needed to design what this system prompt looked like, and then also put this into the user's hands, and then figure out how to design this interface in a way that makes sense. This particular jig, I made it for my team because we were building a student-teacher interaction platform, and I needed a way for my team to imagine what this could look like in the final product. And so I built a student response simulator, right? Because I was imagining these questions and then imagining how students would answer these questions, and then imagining what the data visualization of those answers could look like. And my team was looking at me like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, it's not making sense to me. So the only way that I could have designed this thing was to build like a very lightweight throwaway product. This is not something that a user is not going to see. This was actually a while back, and you can tell because of the AI slop purple that it puts everywhere. But this was like, I think like a year and a half ago or so. And I gave this product to my team, and let's try it here, live demos. So you can select a question, input any type of question that you can get, and then you can generate student responses. All right, so these are from the LLM. So it's real like API access. It contacts OpenAI and you get real responses. And then at this point here, you can ask anything that you want and then generate a data visualization based off of those questions. And so I don't know, I can click on this and then generate my analysis. Let's hope it works. Yes. And so you can get a data visualization on the simulated answers from fake students and then get a sense for what this product could look like if it made it to the final product, right? So I gave this to my team and I just had them play around with it. Like I gave them a week. I said, come back, show me what you came up with. You know, where does it break? Where does it not make sense? And then came back the following week and I just had them screenshot and come up with like very interesting prompts that you thought was interesting that you want me to productize, right? So there's some really cool ideas here where I think, I can't find where it is, but someone actually created a prompt that showed an example of a question that a student answered. Oh, did I accidentally? Oh, hello. Sorry. Yeah, where it was an example of a student where they were getting frustrated with answering this question, right? So that's something that will appear in language. You know, maybe the way the student was answering that question was indicating like higher peak frustration. And so then the teacher would be able to notice that through the data visualization and then maybe give that student more attention or more empathy, more care, right? And so I would have never come up with that idea as a product, but by giving my team this jig and then having them mess around with it, they were able to come up with these interesting ideas, right? So again, product design aided by AI as a material that I turned into a jig and then had my team build something and then give it to me. So I called it like golden prompts, like let's collect them and then we'll see what we turn into a product. Number two, this one is a bit more visual. I really love this one. I put a lot of work into this. So parameters. I just wrote params because I wanted it to fit on the slide. But parameters. So how do we turn our designs or whatever product we're building and use AI to create it's almost like creating Figma inside of the product and the tool that you're designing or building. So you can tell the AI to expose parameters for you where you can tweak and play directly inside of the product and then save those as defaults that then make it into the final thing. So, so this was a 3D book that I created. And it's all interactive. You can open it, you can flip through pages, and you can interact with this 3D book. And I vibe coded this completely from scratch. And the way that I did it was every single time I asked the AI to do something, I would have it give me those options as actual UI on the page that I could play with. So I can do things here like change the page thickness, or I could rotate. I mean, it went crazy. You could tell I was vibe coding till 4 a.m. every day here. But I could change the focal length of the camera. I can change the Z index. And here the illusion is broken. So you can actually see it's not really a real book. It just looks like a book from the top. And this is all interactive. And then I have like debugging here. I think it's somewhere if I enable the debugging.
I mean, that is Brad Victor. Never draw that fish.
Sorry?
Brad Victor? No?
No.
There's an amazing designer who worked at Apple who pioneered these kind of things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Please send it to me. Yes. So, anyways, I think you get the picture, right? So here, it's almost as if I'm building my own tool, right? Almost like Figma, but inside of my product, and then using that to fine tune. And then now I just play with this thing. And then when it's finished, I just hand this over to engineers, and then they can implement it however the way that they want to. So that's the second example of a jig that I would wanted to show. Thank you. So I'll just end off at the end of my slides, right? Bring AI earlier into the design process, not as a way to like go faster, or it's not about the hype. It's not about, I see a lot of people talking about designers shipping to production I'm actually way less interested in that, and more interested in the role that AI plays in the workshop, right? As a jig, as a tool that, is inside of my workspace, and then I can use it to help myself build and design things. And yeah, that's it. Oh, I could just unplug, right?
Yes,
Yes.
you don't need this anymore. Okay, so I will be running around with my microphone, and you can ask questions to any of us, and we will have a conversation. Ideally, short questions, short answers. Okay? Who wants to go first?
I'll just speak for later. Moby, why do you want to get rid of lorem ipsum?
Why do I want to get rid of lorem ipsum? Because I think content is design. And so like the copywriting that's inside of your website or your page, or I think that's also part of design. And so by using lorem ipsum, for us, it was a shortcut, I think, to just fill up a design with content. So I want to get rid of lorem ipsum because I think that we should also be designing content. But then we're in a catch-22. Like, there's a bit of a problem because AI can produce a lot of text. And so we're not going to write all that text. So, but another good thing is that, hey, we have LLMs. But if we could plug our design tools into these APIs, then we don't need to use lorem ipsum. We could just have real content. Yeah, short answers.
Any other questions? Yeah.
I'm kind of curious about how deep your jigs go into, because like one of the things that I found really powerful for myself was I created what I guess I could call a jig about when I have an idea to literally quiz me like crazy until I'm annoyed, just to kind of rubber duck and like hash out the idea more thoroughly before I can like explain it to other people, because there's always like a big disconnect between what's in my head and what I can communicate to others. I'm just wondering, it's like, have you tried using that within your workflow? Because I'm a small team and it would be curious to see if it's worked for you.
Yeah, definitely. So I have what I call like a design log. So usually what I do is, so I have an agent that I would just speak to, and it used to be real people. I'd like walk over to Leo, and he can attest to this. I would just ramble about a design, and I almost design by conversation. And I iterate through conversation, right? And I'll just describe an idea or describe something I want to try doing. And then now I find that I do that to an agent, and I just have it log for me and write for me. And then after that, I have a document, I could do whatever. So like you said, I could throw that into something else and say, is this bulletproof? Can you dig through this? Can you grill me? Are there gaps? Yeah. But to me, that's not really a jig because it's not an object, but maybe it is actually. It's the skill itself that is the jig. But yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right. Hey, guys. All right. So something in the presentation, Leo, in your presentation kind of stood out and it's stuck in my head a bit. This idea of removing friction from design, from creativity, from development. But I think friction is a necessary component, and you need a certain amount of it. You need the right amount to slow you down, to force you to think through problems, right? But not so much that it stops you dead in your tracks. So I think that there's a danger with this idea of using AI to like speed everything through, that you're not taking the necessary pauses to ask the questions, is this the right direction? And just because I can do it, should I do it? So how do you, is there a way to actually conserve or find a balance where there's enough friction, there's enough pushback to force you to think, right? And not just, like bull in a china shop, right? Smash through the problem and then realize that you've left a wake of destruction behind you.
Yeah, of course. Maybe I can write on to the design log example. I think that's a great one. Yeah, you're totally check. Okay, you're totally right. Creativity or any kind of work. Currently, there's a challenge with AI. Everything is sped up, and let's say in the past, every work session might take a day or two. Now it's every 1 hour or two. And with those rapid iteration, the expectation for outcome from the company, from the bosses increases, and you do grind through it, right? But human brain has its limits. Sometimes we need to wind down, we need to brew ideas, so that maybe we can come up with something that is out of the brief, that could bring us to something unplanned, etc. My answer to that in the design profession is having a design log. So what is a design log? For those who doesn't work in design, basically it's like writing a diary. Moby does that by chatting with people. By chatting, it's like you're articulating your thoughts, you're making reasons into words, and that by those practices, it's a moment of like reflection and meditation that, oh, so that's what I was thinking, and there are holes, maybe you have new directions. But it takes time, it slows you down. Why should I do that? Of course, there are dedicated and hardworking designers that will do it without incentives, but most of the designers will think, oh, that's a waste of my time. I should just produce more and more and get a bonus. I think one systemic change I'm working within Gnos is that what if the designers are incentivized to slow down, to make sense of the design instead of just trusting everything AI gives them. For example, let's say we encourage or we promote designers that have hypotheses written down for every design changes they made. And maybe we could even be, for those thoughtful design process, it could be part of how we evaluate how a design is performing. And then they are, of course, extrinsically motivated as well to actually have that ritual to slow down and reflect.
I want to build on this conversation. Give me a second. It's better to be recorded.
Oh, thank you. First of all, I think the microphone's design needs to change because it keeps on switching off. I want to build on that. I mean, since the beginning of time, the technology has been there to speed things up, right? We are building products, some of us who are building technology products just to speed things up faster, cheaper, more convenient, easy, whatever you may want to call it. I mean, I struggle with this self-regulation because I have not been able to. Mobile helped me speed things up. So did the internet. I mean, it's interesting we're sitting here talking about going back to the old days of internet. It never arrived. Internet actually helped us speed things up. I don't know how we self-regulate if there are no self-regulation laws. I mean, you're talking about bosses saying, no, bosses don't know what's going on. They're just reading on the internet just faster. I don't know if self-regulation is going to happen, especially when the incentives are about making money and so on and so forth. I don't know where we're away from this topic of if this session is about design, and I was trying to think about this, that I don't want to go into the legal issues of it. I don't want to go into money issues of it. But if this session is about use of AI in design, I appreciate, Moby, what you said, bring AI in early. So you're saying AI is just a tool. I don't have any answers. I'm just thinking through building on what you're saying. But I don't know if we slow down. How do we slow down? We've just received AI. Everybody's using it. This morning I had an interesting observation. I met one of my operations guys who struggled with English, and his emails are now impeccable. Then I met him in person today, and I didn't recognize him. I don't know, but I don't want him to stop using the AI. It's fantastic.
Thank you. Do you guys want to brief on that?
Yeah. So it's actually interesting. For me, when I use AI, it's actually not constant. So for example, right now, there's been maybe a couple weeks that I have not opened Cursor or Claude. But I will go through moments where I'm opening it like every minute of every day and I'm just producing. And in those moments where I'm producing, the speed actually allows me to try ideas that I wouldn't have been able to before, just because it's cheap now for me to produce. For example, the 3D book that I shared, maybe 3 years ago, I would have never pitched that. The PM would have a heart attack and we are not going to do a 3D book into product. And, that's just too much. But now I'm empowered to just spend a couple of nights building it. And then, hey, it already exists. I think maybe we can try an approach like this. So I think the speed allows me to take riskier ideas because it's cheaper. And I don't need to feel guilty about bothering an engineer to help me mock up this idea. And then also I don't need to spend a lot of time in After Effects making sort of like imaginary motion. I can just build it myself and then be like, hey, let's test this idea. And so that's how I feel about speed. But then how I mitigate from that is it's not constant. It's like, it'll be like, deep work for some time. And like my slides today, I didn't make them with AI. Right? There's still some things that I hold to myself to make things manually and design things myself because I enjoy the process. Yeah, I think if you want to add.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I think okay. You're totally right that technology always wants to speed us up, and there are also many things that technology wants. There's a book called "What Technology Wants" by the author Kevin Kelly. So, technology wants speed, technology wants connection, technology wants scale, for example, and there are always some side effects. I hope that my sharing isn't saying that we must slow down, we should not speed up. I think the better way to think about it is that let's speed up things, the right things, and keep the right amount of friction. Let's use traveling or as an example. I do not like too much about comparing tickets, finding the best deal, etc. But I enjoy getting lost in a country, finding things that I have not planned before. So I bet that in work, there are some qualities in work that we actually enjoy. And those should be stuff that, or maybe things that we should be accountable for. Those should be slowed down, but there are some other stuff that should be sped up. Having said that, there are also counter arguments that once we sped up those things that we really hated, we start to lose the tacit skill or the inherent skill to actually do it without AI. We become over reliant on that. And that's a trade-off we have to make as humanity, just like evolution. We have evolved our tails away. There are many things that we have weaker muscles, we have a weaker physique, but in contrast, we've earned brain for now, or cognitive power for now. So again, it's an evolution that we are hopingly, knowingly, that we are making. And one last anecdotal thought is that what's interesting about technology is that it make things more accessible. So maybe self-regulation is a skill, and not everyone is good at this skill. And maybe with technology, we can compensate that. Let's say the AI agent is configured in a way that provokes you to self-reflect, or it stops you, or maybe asking a lot of follow-up questions that force you to create a design log. That's also a way to hack through it.
Or Claude having 5-hour limits.
Anyone else? Yep.
Thanks so much. So it's reported between 16,000 and 25,000 white tech collar jobs are getting lost in the US alone every month due to AI displacement. Are you going to be necessary in a few years' time if you introduce AI right from the beginning?
Oh, tough one. If I'm being honest, I'm not really thinking about it. Or okay, let me put it better. I'm an optimist, so lithography went away because the printing press came along, and then there were other disciplines that replaced it. I know that's kind of like very cheesy. It's been said a lot, but I truly believe that for design, especially, that's what I know. I have been feeling for a long time that design has been heading towards it's been in an age of optimization, right? And I got my start in creative media and art, and it was all about creativity, innovating. When the iPhone came out, we were having interesting apps like the beer app and like all of the lightsaber app, and it sort of all went away, and now it's all about optimizing. And you go to Mobbin and you look at what all of the apps do, and then you do exactly that, but maybe change some color. And we've already been optimizing. AI just made that faster, and it lets us produce the average of whatever is out there. So I am excited to get back to a world where we are now creating again and thinking more strategy, more business, more the philosophical reason about why we're building a feature, focusing on human to human connections. And so that's why I feel like I would still be relevant, because now I can just focus more on these higher order, like higher level things that I was interested in anyways. Breaking the rules and doing interesting stuff. But that's me.
Yeah, I think the same question applies to many other industries as well. Of course, it have a significance in tech industry because design is praised to be very creative, and creativity is used to be our last fortress against competition. But I think the role as of today will not be relevant, like let's say in 4 to 5 years, because the expectation of the role will be radically changed. The modes of working will be radically changed, and it's likely that it will be a bunch of gig workers. Maybe one back. So today, designers, product designers to be specific, there's a lot of different things we need to do. Some things could definitely be automated. Some, maybe no. And those, maybe no, could be, we might find specialized gig workers for them. And we might, we might find a generalist that could not only do design, but also be a QA, be engineer, just do everything. So the kind of the expectation or the role or we radically shift. So in a way, our role as of today will not be the same. But if we look into other industry, there are some patterns we can see. For example, if people pay you not because of only your work, but because of you, because of your brand, because they trust you, then you're still safe. If you have your domain knowledge that is not being part of the internet training set, and then you'll be safe as well. If your job concerns with a lot of relationship, with a lot of connections, and for example, maybe some part of sales could be safe as well. So I think as designers, as long as we don't think design as the artifact, as the final outcome, but also the way we work is about bringing people together, finding consensus, thinking out problems in a different way, then we're still safe.
Thank you. Thank you. For now. Anyone else?
I think designers are safe, man. Honestly, if you see some of the vibe code things, they all look the same.
Yes. Yes, it's the average. That's
like
the
average is all of them. It's kind of like, hey, let's get a nice little dark pattern here with a slight blue gradient and things. Always the same. Yes, yes.
What about creative leads? Are they safe?
Creative what?
Creative leads. I was always struggling with, I had one creative lead, and he always brought his ideas. Now he brings 36 ideas. I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but I get different flavors of it at least, and I enjoy that actually, getting different ideas. So, there's a human limit to it, So I think designers may be safe. I think we're too early to know all of this. All of it is too early. And we saw that some of us who are old enough, we saw that in mobile, we saw that in web. We're talking about something that is still brand new. We don't know what really is going to happen. I think jobs will change. It's just that issue is they're changing too fast, in my opinion. Things have been changing, but you're talking about design. I think the optimization is a good word, maybe. I think it's commoditization is what we want to be careful of. We're producing all of this stuff and it becomes a subjective term. You know, I think it's just happening so fast, so quickly, even for people who run software companies. My company may be obsolete. I was selling software, now software stocks are down. We are grappling with that too. What's going to happen? We just don't know, in my opinion.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak up? Yes. I don't know. Let's do it with a microphone.
I just want to add on to that. I feel like right now, this AI era feels like a divergence era for me. Just like when I was doing vibe coding, I'm not sure if you guys have this experience when I was making a lot of prompts to AI, I feel like it's not giving me my perfect results, and I keep telling them same thing again and again in different angles, and even if it came out with something that I feel slightly more satisfied with, because I'm a designer, I always feel like there's a better solution. So I feel like I've just unconsciously spent hours and hours in vibe coding. And this whole process for me feels like endless. And to me, it's like a divergence process. Like I'm not getting that convergence state yet. And I feel like right now, in today's world, it's also like a divergence world too. Like people are still kind of exploring things here and there. But I feel like at some point, we might reach that convergence state. I'll give you like an example. Like if you just spend like 1 hour vibe coding, you'll feel like this AI just amazes you with a lot of really cool artifacts. But let's say imagine you spend 1,000 hours vibe coding and you started to see patterns. Like AI will giving you like same results in different ways. That is still not achievable, or it's not meeting your expectations. So I feel like at that point, you started to consider your constraints and kind of be more clear on your expectations on what you really want. And I think I think it could be also like a metaphor of kind of reflecting what we're like right now. Like I think right now, it feels like things going very, very fast. Like we're really not sure what will be needed from a human's perspective, but maybe over time, like real needs will arise. That's just how I would kind of see it. Like maybe in a more optimistic way, just like Moby too.
Optimism.
Yeah.
Just to respond to you real quick. That happens to me too. You're saying the same thing. It's not working. It's not working. What I do in that moment is I realize that I could go to Figma and design it myself, and then I do. So, and I say that because I've realized there's two types of vibe coding or vibe designing. One is vibe implementation. You're vibe coding to implement, and then the other is your vibe coding to design. So vibe coding for implementation means you know exactly what you want already, and you just want to use the tool to build that thing that you have in your head. There are people that exist for that already, and those are engineers, right? And so I've sort of pushed myself into, if I know exactly what I have in my head already, I'm faster. It's faster for me to go into Figma and do it. I use vibe coding or AI for vibe designing, meaning I don't know what this is. It's like it's clay. So I just throw the clay on and I shape it, whatever emerges. It's almost like AI. Oh, I muted myself again. Hello. It's almost like AI is a technical co-founder. You trust the tech co-founder as much as yourself. You're building something together. Sometimes it will come up with ideas better than you have come up with, and you're like, oh my God, that's cool. Yes, and you're riffing, and it's like jazz. So that's a much more enjoyable experience for me, vibe coding with AI. If I get into the territory of vibe coding for implementation, I'll be much happier in Figma. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Hello, I'm also a product designer who working at AI, and I also want to add a question to it. With AI generate endless UI, reference based on our like Figma patterns, UIs, right? And how do you guys balance those AI gen design with real user needs in an genetic work? How do you validate those AI generate UX is actually the best solution for our real users and humans?
Okay, I'll go. I mean, the traditional methods of user research hasn't changed for us. So I still go and put things in front of users, whether I designed it or AI designed it. It's the same. It's no difference for the user. So, I mean, I still do take the transcript, anonymize it, and then put it into AI. We have a database, and you can ask questions and use AI to produce reports. So AI still exists around there, but I still will sit down, share my screen, and show a concept and ask a user what they think, how they would use it, how they feel. I think that's actually an interesting area of my work that I think wouldn't change, because an AI is not going to notice like the slight hesitation in a user's face before they say like, yeah, I would find this useful. And as a designer that was actually a no. So, but on the transcript, it will say, I found that useful. And then the AI is like, oh, user finds it useful. But that's actually not really what happened. So I think that area, whether it was generated by AI or not, I think would still be something that I would go out and look for face-to-face human contact for. Yeah.
I'm actually excited because I think we're getting more time for face-to-face interactions.
Yeah, I think there are two parts in the question. One is how we manage slop. There are traditional ways to work, like having a design system. In the past, used by designers, now used by agents. So design system, or how to make your design system agentic, is one of the way to steer it back to the right direction. Of course, there are a lot of things like how you prompt, having a PRD in place. That sort of stuff still applies, just that you need to now have agent refer to it. The second part is with the increasing popularity of a shotgun approach, like just shooting in the dark, see whatever works. How can the human process keep up with that velocity or that quantity? I think we have to change the expectation of this shotgun approach, because a lot of variants, or maybe talking with as much user as possible. So for example, if user research is good, what if we do 100 interviews per day? So that kind of mindset makes no sense, right? We have to expose that nonsense. And actually, there are some very good sources that support this. I think a couple of days ago, some ex-Y Combinator VC folks, there's a YouTube channel where they just said having more and more, let's say talking with more users, infinite amount of them, having more variants, is actually noise to the decision-making process. What helps founders, not only designers, what helps founders more is just a small amount of super high quality conversations with potential customers, instead of just random folks in the street. Common sense, but it does take time for people to unlearn the glamour of the promises of AI and go back to the basics.
Actually, I have one thing to add there. So he just reminded me of something that we do at GoodNotes. So we create what we call a super panel of users. So when I was working on the education product, we got like 5, we called them super teachers. And these super teachers, we didn't think of them as research participants. They would come to the office, eat lunch, hang out. We would just like, hey, I have an idea, I want to show you. I'd WhatsApp them. And we eventually hired 2 of them who now work for us permanently. So, not permanently, that's weird. You know what I mean.
For life.
For life, they're never leaving. But I think now, and there are a couple of ideas that I want to try. I haven't tried it yet, but for example, can I pair program or pair prompt with a user? Like maybe we open up Cursor, let's build something together. I see them prompt, I prompt, let's build something together, and that is now the research output, right? I haven't tried it. Maybe we can all try it and let's see. Maybe next time we have an event, we see how it goes. But there are new processes that will come out of this that I think could be very interesting. Yeah.
Thank you so much. On this, we will stop the formal Q&A. Informal Q&A can continue. You can keep asking questions, have conversations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before I close, one last slide, if it will work. Yeah, so with this QR code, you can join HA at User Experience Hong Kong, Design Hong Kong at HA. So that's an invitation from me to do that. Thank you. Okay, I think we eat all the pizza, but we still have some drinks. I see a lot of friends. I would love to catch up. And then after this, in half an hour, we'll go for a bar. So if someone interested in still continue conversation, we have a bar nearby. We usually go there. Thank you so much for coming.